So it looks like the Sean Strickland and the Drickus and all of the beef and everything that happened after the fight, it looks like it's finally dying down. People are, it was a close fight. We know it's a close fight. There's some angry people that want Sean Strickland to win for various reasons. But either way, it was a close fight. I mean, it's kind of bizarre because Drickus was doing this whole, yeah, let's settle the beef and yeah, let's be respectful. And then after the fight, he was kind of like, boasting about it and making fun of Strickland. And then Strickland, I think, countered back with then saying, well, you headbutted me and you didn't really take the belt from me and all this stuff. And it looks like all that's starting to die down. Now it seems like most people are focusing on UFC 300. And they also seem to be, I guess with all the drama that happened, there was some sort of collateral damage on some people, and it seems like Jon Anik seems to be, he seems to have gotten wounded by, I guess I wouldn't say friendly fire, but he was some of the collateral damage of the Drickus and the Strickland kind of post fight wars. And he was just, I don't know, it's kind of it's really funny to me about this whole thing about he's going on interviews and he's complaining about people are sending him negative stuff and he's thinking about leaving the UFC and all this stuff. And I know some people are saying like, oh, poor Jon Anik, people are they're trying to bully cite him off his job, and that's horrible, and all these people are just such bad people. And then you have the people on the other side which are like, they're like, dude, you're a grown-ass man, you're getting paid tons of money, and you're just sitting here looking at your ex or whatever social media it is, and people are in your DMs and they're saying whatever about you, and you're like sitting there reading them and you're actually like getting emotional over it and talking about quitting your job over this, and I've heard some other people too talk about how they think it's not really that, like he's like, there's been a couple situations I've noticed where Jon Anik was kind of the victim in it. And I know Colby one time like said something, I'm pretty sure, about attacking Jon Anik, and then a bunch of people came out, and I think there was a few things that have happened in the past before, and then people came out and they were doing this whole, grab the baby Jon Anik and kiss his forehead and give him his little baba and type of thing. But this one, this one's interesting because he's going out there saying, I don't want to deal with this, and then putting it out there as if waiting for people to say, oh, they're there, like, let's protect Jon Anik and go and let's go after all those big meanies on the internet, all those bad guys, the evil Sean Strickland supporters. And yeah, I mean, it is pretty pathetic. He's a grown ass man. He gets paid a ton of money to deal with, well, not really to deal with that, but like he chooses to. You don't have to have a social media or any of that stuff, I'm pretty sure. You just have to go in there and commentate about fights. He's really like at the forefront of some of the best stuff going on in the world all the time. Gets paid a lot of money. He gets to be friends with some very, very interesting and very creative and powerful people. And he's willing to go to the NFL. Like, I'm not an NFL guy. I don't like any sports really that have to do with balls. I used to play that stuff when I was younger, but now it's just like, there's only a couple things I like anymore. And MMA is one of the things where I'm like, okay, if there's a fight going on, let's go watch it. That's fine. But I don't care about, the ball dropping or any of that stuff. But yeah, this is like such a man baby thing. And I think the main point that I kind of want to drop when it comes to this is that it's like, who cares? Who cares about this guy? He's just he's literally like the NPC commentator. He's like some short, racially ambiguous, just kind of like, no personality guy. That's his job, is just to just announce, like be the boring announcer guy, sort of. He's not like Joe Rogan or Dominic Cruz or any of the fight or DC and those guys. They commentate to a degree, but their real job is to just give you kind of like the martial arts advice, like, hey, he needs to do this or he's doing that, or they kind of have like martial arts knowledge, so then they're in about it. But John Anik has no knowledge about nothing. His whole job is just to announce. Like he's the guy that is like, okay, time to talk about the sponsors or whatever. He's just the NPC, just like mouth is really what he is. And obviously he's a tiny man. A good chunk of tiny guys kind of are these little mousy, insecure guys, very beta, and it is what it is. But like that's probably really the reasoning in what he's doing. He's doing this whole like, oh, poor me, and he's trying to see how many people are gonna come out and like kiss his ass, essentially, probably over this whole thing. But I just don't understand why like who are these people who are like, oh, we love John Anik and we don't want him to retire because of what? I mean, yeah, was he more interesting than probably the guy before him? What was his name? What was it, Goldberg or something? Like, yeah, he was probably more interesting than that guy. He does do some silly commentating, like from time to time, like talking about people's, whether or not someone's paying child support, or he'll talk about people losing custody of their kids and all this stuff. And yeah, he's had a couple moments, but like having a couple moments when he's probably announced who knows how many dozens and dozens, maybe even who knows, maybe even 100 of these events he's been at, and all he has is a couple moments. I mean, this guy is just an NPC. Like, who are these people who are just like, oh, we love John and I, we can't, do these people even think? Do they even know who this guy is? It's like I don't understand like why there's even a crowd that even supports him. Does he really, like, what does he do that like adds to our experience as MMA fighters? Like if something happened to him, what, like, or they replace him with somebody else, how does that really affect us? Like, who are these people? Who are these people that like they need to have Jon Anik? They're Jon Anik fans. Like they're probably in the comments fighting off Strickland fans or whoever it is that are going after Jon Anik. Who are these people? Like, why do you care about this man? You're not a good person because you care about him. Who cares, right? Who cares about this guy? They could replace him tomorrow, and it wouldn't really change anything. Because again, he has like no personality. He's just the mouth. That's all he is. It's bizarre that some people out there would actually like defend him and like do this whole like, oh, like you guys need to be quiet, otherwise you're going to make him retire and all this stuff. And who cares? He has no personality. He's not a fighter. He has no martial arts knowledge. He's just a mouth, just an NPC mouth. He could be replaced tomorrow. That's kind of how that job is, to be honest. It would be a pain in the ass, obviously, because he has so much experience. They could be hands off of him, but still, it's like honestly, that blonde woman, I don't know her name, but they started bringing her into a lot of these events, and who knows, maybe she's coming for his job. He knows it, and he's trying to set up some stuff in order to get a way out. Like he even threw out the NFL as example. Maybe they're contacting him. Maybe that's where he wants to go. I mean, again, when you have a job like that, these kind of NPC jobs, it's like there's really no defining characteristic about you. So then there's really nothing like you can't really just replace Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan has made a name for himself. So it would turn into like, and not to mention he's also connected to politics. So if you did get rid of him, it would turn into a big like, shit show essentially, because of the person he is. So it would be a big problem if they decide to get rid of Dominic Cruz. He would have some fans out there that'd be pretty mad, but then there'd be some people out there that would be very glad. So it's like you get rid of him and it's no big deal. Could you get rid of DC? You could get rid of DC. He has his own unique personality and stuff, but he's not really connected to politics. You get rid of him, and he'd probably go and I don't know, gain 600 pounds somewhere because he's all depressed now, and he has to eat like 1,000 pounds of donuts to get better. But yeah, you wouldn't get too much out of him, I guess. I guess Joe Rogan's really the only guy that would be really difficult to get rid of. The other guys, they have their fans, but they also have people that don't like them too. So it wouldn't be that big a deal. But I will say though, getting rid of DC or Dominic or any of these like martial art kind of guys, commentators, that would be, you get way more negative backlash than if you got rid of like Jon Anik. Like, who cares? Like, I don't even know why we're even talking about him, honestly. He's not a fighter. He's not one of the personalities. So therefore he's not an entertainer. And if you're watching MMA and you're getting into like non-entertainers, like the announcer, for instance, like, okay, yeah, he's been there a long time and all that, good for him. But at the same time, does he have a fan base? Like, if they replace him tomorrow, would there be people out there with pitchforks? It's like, these are kind of like NPC kind of characters that are just, same thing with the ring girls, right? The ring girls, they walk up, they're not supposed to have a personality, they're not really real. They go up, they do the thing, they shake their butts, and then they sit back down. Like, they're not really real, right? They're not real. These are all the announcer, the ring girls, the main commentator guys. These are just NPCs. They're not really real. So I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about this. Comment. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is he an NPC? Are these people not real? I feel like I have a different kind of perspective I'm kind of throwing out there from what I've seen in the community. So I'd like to hear if you guys agree with that or don't agree. That would really actually kind of help me out kind of in like the way I make videos. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video.